They say grief is a ghost. It haunts the hallways of your heart, rattling chains in the middle of the night, refusing to let you sleep. But for Park Jae-Wook, the head of the Seven Star Syndicate, grief wasn't a ghost. It was a cold, iron cage, and he was the prisoner. The rain fell on the pavement, heavy and rhythmic, washing over the city of Seoul. It was the first anniversary of his son's death, Minho, 20 years old, a boy who loved poetry and hated guns, a boy who was supposed to be the one clean thing in Jae-Wook's birdie world. But clean things don't survive in the mud. Minho had died in a car accident, or at least that's what the police report said, and that's what the world believed. Jae-Wook stood in the pouring rain, his black umbrella the only shield against the gray sky. The cemetery was empty, or so he thought. Then he heard it, a sound soft, stifled, but so broken it pierced through the armor of his suit. He walked around the marble angel guarding the family plot, and there she was, not a family member, not a business associate, a stranger. A black woman, beautiful but devastated, on her knees in the mud. She was ruining a coat that looked like it cost 3 paychecks, clutching a teddy bear to her chest like it was a lifeline. She was crying for his son. Jae-Wook didn't feel gratitude. He felt rage. Grief is possessive. This pain belonged to him. Who was this woman stealing his sorrow? He reached inside his jacket, his fingers brushing the cold steel of his 9mm, and stepped forward. The rain drowned out his footsteps, but his voice cut through the storm like a blade. "Who?" he asked, his tone cold and menacing. "Are you?" She looked up, and in that moment, Park Jae-Wook didn't see a threat. He saw a mirror. He had no idea that this woman, Jasmine Williams, held the key to the secret that would burn his empire to the ground. Let's rewind. To understand why Jasmine was on her knees in a cemetery in a foreign country, crying over a mafia prince, we have to go back. Jasmine Williams, south side of Chicago, born and raised, a woman who fought for everything she had. She came to Seoul to teach English, to escape her own ghosts. She didn't plan on falling for a student. She didn't plan on him being the heir to a criminal throne, and she certainly didn't plan on him dying. Imagine a cafe, months ago, clinking cups, light jazz playing in the background. Jasmine sat across from a young man with gentle eyes. "Minho," she had said, softly, tapping the textbook, "you have to focus on the past participle. If you want to pass the TOEFL, you gotta get this." But Minho had just looked at her with a sad smile. "Jazz, I don't care about the test. I just want to talk to you. Did you read the poem? The one about the caged bird?" she asked. "Yeah, it was sad, Minho." "It is me," he whispered. "My father, he builds a golden cage, but it is still a cage." Jasmine didn't know who his father was, not then. She just knew Minho was lonely. Now, back in the cemetery, the rain was soaking through her dress. The man standing over her was terrifying. He was beautiful in a way that hurt to look at. Sharp angles, eyes like obsidian, a scar running down his jaw, but he radiated danger. "I asked you a question," Jae-Wook repeated. "Get up." Jasmine took a shaky breath, standing slowly, wiping mud from her knees. I'm a friend. I was a friend." "My son didn't have friends," Jae-Wook spat. "He had associates, and you are not an associate." He stepped closer. The smell of expensive cologne and gun oil hit her. He signaled to his bodyguards, and 2 men in black suits emerged from the mist like shadows taking form. "Check her bag," Jae-Wook ordered. "Find out who she is." "Hey," Jasmine shouted, pulling back. "You can't just get off me." But they grabbed her bag. They found her ID, her teaching credentials, and the teddy bear. Jae-Wook took the bear. He stared at it. It was old, worn, one eye missing. He remembered it. Minho had it since he was 5, but it had disappeared a month before he died. He looked at Jasmine, his eyes narrowing. He gave you this? Yes, Jasmine said, her voice defiant despite her fear. He said he needed someone safe to keep it. Safe? From whom? Jae-Wook asked. From you. The silence that followed was louder than the thunder rolling overhead. Jae-Wook's face hardened into stone. Get in the car. No, Jasmine stepped back. I'm not going anywhere with you. You have 2 choices, Miss Williams, Jae-Wook said, his voice low and deadly. You get in the car and we talk about why my son was afraid of me, or you stay here and my men bury you next to him. Choose. The drive to the penthouse was silent. The city of Seoul blurred past the rain-streaked windows, neon signs reflecting on the wet pavement like spilled paint. Jasmine sat in the back of the armored Maybach. The leather was soft, the air conditioned, but she felt like she was being transported to her execution. Jae-Wook sat opposite her. He didn't look at her. He looked at the teddy bear in his hands. Inside his mind, a storm was brewing. Why, he thought, why did he give this to her? I gave him everything, cars, money, protection. I built an empire so he would never have to be afraid. And he gave his most precious possession to a stranger? They arrived at the Lotte Tower. The penthouse was a museum of cold luxury. White marble floors, black leather furniture, no photos, no warmth. Jae-Wook walked to the bar and poured a drink. Whiskey, neat. Sit, he commanded. I'd rather stand, Jasmine replied, clutching her arms. Suit yourself, he said, taking a sip. You said he was afraid of you. Why? He wasn't afraid of you hurting him, Jasmine said, her voice trembling but clear. He was afraid of what you represented. He wanted out, Mr. Park. He wanted to be a writer. He didn't want the syndicate. Everyone wants the syndicate, Jae-Wook scoffed. It is power. It's a target on your back, and it got him killed. Jae-Wook threw his glass against the wall. It shattered with a violence that made Jasmine flinch, but she didn't run. It was an accident, Jae-Wook hissed, breathing heavily. A drunk driver. Is that what they told you? Jasmine asked softly. Is that what your brother told you? Jae-Wook froze. His brother, Park Jin-woo, the underboss, the loyal right hand. He turned slowly to face her. What do you know about my brother? Min-ho told me, Jasmine began, reaching into her pocket. He said if anything happened to him, it wasn't an accident. He said he found something, numbers, accounts. He said his uncle Jin-woo was moving money, skimming off the top, and worse, selling routes to the Russians. Lies, Jae-Wook said immediately. Jin-woo raised Min-ho when his mother died. He loved him. Did he? Or did he love the leverage? She pulled out a USB drive, a small silver stick. He hid this inside the teddy bear, she whispered. I found it last night. I was coming to the grave to tell him I was going to be brave. Jae-Wook took the drive. He plugged it into his laptop. Files appeared on the screen, hundreds of them, audio recordings, bank transfers, and a video file. He clicked play. Min-ho's voice filled the room, sounding young and scared. Dad, if you're watching this, I'm gone. I'm sorry I wasn't the son you wanted. I'm sorry I was weak, but I wasn't blind. Uncle Jin-woo, he's betraying you. He's going to stage a coup. And he knows I found out. I'm scared, Dad. I gave this to Jazz because she's the only one who doesn't care about your money. Please protect her. And Dad, I love you. The screen went black. Jae-Wook sat there, the most powerful man in Seoul, reduced to a statue of ash. A single tear, hot and heavy, rolled down his cheek. He looked at Jasmine, really looked at her. She wasn't just a stranger. She was the keeper of his son's soul. And now she was a target. Pack your things, he said quietly. What? Jasmine asked. Jin-woo isn't stupid. If Min-ho is dead, he knows there might be evidence. He will find you. You are staying here. I'm not staying with a mob boss. You are staying with the father of the boy you loved, and I am the only thing standing between you and a bullet in the head. Welcome to the family, Jasmine. Living with Park Jae-Wook was like living in the eye of a hurricane. It was quiet, but you knew the storm was spinning just outside the glass. Jasmine was given the guest wing, a space bigger than her entire apartment building in Chicago. For weeks, they existed in a strange orbit. Jae-Wook was gone during the day, dismantling his brother's operation piece by piece, silently, surgically. At night, he would come home smelling of smoke and violence, and he would find Jasmine in the library. She read Minho's favorite books. Sometimes Jae-Wook would sit with her. They wouldn't talk about the business. They talked about Minho. Did he really like poetry? Jae-Wook asked one evening, staring into the fireplace. Yeah, Rilke. He said you only read Sun Tzu. Jae-Wook let out a small chuckle. He was cheeky. Slowly, the ice began to thaw. Jasmine saw the man beneath the monster. She saw the way he stared out the window, looking for a ghost. She saw the way he ensured her favorite tea was stocked, even though he never asked her what it was. And Jae-Wook, he saw a fire in Jasmine that he hadn't seen in years. She stood up to him. She didn't cower. One night, a nightmare woke her up. She was screaming. Jae-Wook burst into her room, gun drawn. Jasmine, where is he? No one, she sobbed, clutching the sheets. Just a dream. I dreamt of the car, the crash. He lowered the gun. He sat on the edge of the bed. He didn't leave. He sat there, in the dark, his presence a heavy, comforting weight, until she fell back asleep. It was then he realized he wasn't just protecting a witness, he was protecting her. The peace couldn't last. Jin-woo made his move. He realized Jae-Wook was freezing his accounts. He realized the accident hadn't buried the secrets. It happened at the annual gala. Jae-Wook had to attend. It was a show of strength, and he brought Jasmine. Wear this, he said, handing her a box. Inside was a dress of emerald silk and diamonds. I can't wear this, she said, touching the fabric. It's too much. You are with me, Jae-Wook said firmly. You look like a queen, or they will treat you like a pawn. They entered the ballroom, and all eyes were on them. Whispers hissed through the crowd. Who is she? Is that the American? Jin-woo was there, smiling, a shark in a tuxedo. He approached them. Brother, he said smoothly, and, who is this lovely creature? This is Jasmine, Jae-Wook said, his voice even, a friend of Minho's. Jin-woo's smile faltered for a fraction of a second. Ah, the tutor. I heard about you. He leaned in close to Jasmine, his breath smelling of expensive wine. Did he tell you he cried for his mommy before he died? Jasmine felt the rage boil up from her toes, but before she could speak, Jae-Wook's hand clamped onto Jin-woo's shoulder. Not a friendly pat, a vice grip. Enjoy the champagne, brother. It might be your last glass. Later that night, the attack came. Not at the party, but on the road home, an ambush. Black SUVs boxed them in. Gunfire shattered the windows. Get down, Jae-Wook roared. He covered Jasmine's body with his own. Glass rained down on them. The driver was hit. The car spun out, crashing into a guardrail. Jae-Wook dragged Jasmine out of the wreckage. He was bleeding from the forehead. Run, he ordered, into the woods. They ran into the winter night. The air burned their lungs. They found an abandoned maintenance shed, and Jae-Wook barred the door before collapsing. He was shot in the shoulder. Oh my God, Jae-Wook, Jasmine cried, rushing to his side. It's nothing, he rasped, grimacing. Just a scratch. It's a bullet hole. Let me see. She tore her emerald dress to make bandages, tending to his wound in the freezing dark. He watched her, his eyes hazy with pain. Why are you helping me? You should run. Leave me. You didn't leave Minho, Jasmine said fiercely, and you didn't leave me. We're in this together, Park. And in that cold, dirty shed, with death waiting outside, the spark caught fire. He reached up, touching her face with a bloody hand. I should have met you in another life, he whispered. We're in this one, she said, and she kissed him. It tasted of copper and fear and desperation, but it was alive. They survived the night. Jae-Wook's loyalists found them at dawn. The war was on. Jae-Wook didn't go back to the penthouse. He went to the old house, a fortress in the mountains. He left Jasmine there. "Stay here," he told her. "I have to end this." "Don't you dare die," she warned him. "I have a reason to live now." Jae-Wook walked into the lion's den, Jin-Woo's headquarters. He walked in alone. Jin-Woo was laughing, celebrating his victory, thinking his brother was dead. "You're alive?" Jin-Woo sneered. "You're like a cockroach." "I'm a ghost, brother," Jae-Wook said calmly. "Min-Ho sent me." He didn't use a gun. He used his hands. He dismantled the guards. He faced his brother. Jin-Woo pulled a weapon, but Jae-Wook was faster. He threw the USB drive on the table. "I know everything," Jae-Wook said. "The Russians, the skimming, Min-Ho." "The boy was soft," Jin-Woo screamed. "He was going to ruin us." "He was better than us," Jae-Wook roared. "He was the future." Jae-Wook ended it. A single shot. Justice for Min-Ho. But as he walked out, he didn't feel triumph. He felt hollow, until he remembered who was waiting for him. 6 months later, the cemetery again. But it wasn't raining this time. The sun was shining. Jasmine stood by the grave, placing fresh flowers on the granite. "We miss you, kid," she whispered. Jae-Wook stood beside her. He wasn't wearing a black suit. He was wearing navy, lighter. He took Jasmine's hand. "Do you think he would approve?" he asked. Jasmine laughed softly. "Of us? Yeah, he'd probably say, 'Finally.'" "I'm stepping down, Jasmine." He looked at the horizon. "I'm handing the reins to the council. I'm done." "What will you do? Maybe travel? Maybe learn to bake," he smirked. "You said you missed Chicago deep dish pizza." Jasmine laughed loud and clear. "You? Baking? I'd pay to see that." "Then stay with me," he said, squeezing her hand. "And watch." He kissed her. Under the watchful eyes of the stone angel, the mafia boss and the teacher found peace. Grief was still there, a quiet companion, but it wasn't a cage anymore. It was just a memory of love. And the future? The future was wide open.